Hello, my amazing artists. Today we read the story Shape of My Heart. So we're going to create a heart and fill it with all sorts of fun shapes that we know. To start out, we are going to fold our paper in half, hot dog style. That means we're lining up those long edges with each other so our paper is tall and skinny. I like to start my crease in the middle and then work my way out. Now I'm going to draw half of a heart. I'm going to start with pencil so I can erase if I make a mistake. I start my hearts from the middle and then I go out and I start with a bump, a rainbow line, and I bring it around town and down to a point towards the bottom of my paper. If I didn't like that line, remember, because I started in pencil, I could erase and try again. Around my fabulous heart, I'm also going to be thinking about a fun border, a fun line that goes around it. Maybe you do a bumpy line like I'm doing. Maybe you do a castle line. You can decide what kind of edge detail you want to add to your heart. Alrighty, now I'm going to trace over that line with crayon. You can pick whatever crayon color you would like today. I think I'm going to work with a teal crayon because teal is one of my favorite colors. So I'm going to trace over that line. I'm pressing kind of hard with my crayon to make sure that I'm making a nice thick dark line. That's going to be important because later we're going to do a magic trick to transfer our crayon line over so that our heart is symmetrical, so that it's the same on each side. Alrighty, now I've traced over my pencil line. I am going to open up my paper and I'm going to fold my paper in half so that my drawing is on the inside. Now I want to check to make sure that my drawing is on the top. It's on the top. Now I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to trace over the marks that I can see through my paper. And as I do that, I'm pressing really hard with my pencil. And that helps make sure that that crayon line is being pressed onto the other side of the paper. So I'm pressing really hard with my pencil. I'm trying to go over the lines that I can see through the paper that I made with my crayon. And that's going to reveal our magic trick. When we open up our paper, we can see those marks that we transferred from the one side to the other. If you use a darker color, it's going to be a little bit easier to see. If you make your crayon marks nice and thick, that'll also help you out as you're transferring your marks over. And then I'm going to just trace over with my awesome crayon those lines that I printed, that I pressed onto my paper using my magic trick. Alrighty, now it's time for the fun part. I'm going to think of as many different shapes as I can and fill my heart with them. What are some shapes that you know? Those are all great ideas. I'm going to go a little crazy and fill my heart with shapes. I'm going to fast forward this part, but I want you to take your time. Alrighty, so I've traced over my lines. I filled in with lots of geometric shapes and a few freeform ones. Now I am ready to paint. So I've put away my crayons for the moment. I've grabbed my paintbrush. As I grab my paintbrush, I'm going to dip it in my water cup and I'm going to start with the least powerful color. That's going to help keep my paints clean. So I'm going to start with yellow. So I'm going to add some drops of water to yellow and then I'm just going to pick some shapes that I want to be yellow. If I made my crayon marks nice and pronounced and thick and dark, that's going to help keep my paint where I want it to be. So I'm just going to pick some shapes that I would like to be yellow. Then I'm going to rinse out my brush. I'm going to swipe it on the lip and I'm going to get a drop of water and move on to orange, the next color in the rainbow. Oop, I'm going to get a little bit more paint. I'm just going to keep going, filling in my colors on my heart. I'm trying to dance with the tiptoes of my paintbrush ballerina. That helps make sure that the paint is going where I want it to go in beautiful brush strokes. It also helps make sure that my paintbrush stays nice for a long time. Each time I want to switch colors, I swish my cup or my brush in the bottom of my water cup, and then I swipe it on the lip to make sure that it's clean. Now I'm going to move on to red. And I'll keep going, filling in my shapes with different colors. Next I'll do green. It's okay if you make an oops. Let's make it beautiful. Let's make it work in our artwork. And I'll rinse my brush, move on to a new color. Next I'll do blue. Alrighty, and I have one more color of the rainbow that I have not used yet. Can you tell me what it is? If you said purple, you are right. So I'll rinse my brush out really good. Then I can switch to purple, and you'll notice that places where my paint was wet, those colors ran together and mixed together. If you don't want that to happen, you might need to be a little bit more patient than I'm being and wait for your paint to dry in between. Because we're working with watercolors, it's going to take just a little bit of time for our paints to dry. So if you want to be patient and wait for that to happen, you can do that. As your paintbrush is making a scritchy scratchy sound on your paper, it's saying, hey man, I'm thirsty. I need some more paint and some more water. Make sure that you're keeping your paintbrush hydrated with plenty of paint and water. You're going to keep painting until you fill your whole hearts with beautiful colors and beautiful shapes. When you're all donezo, give your paintbrush one last good swish in your water cup and swipe on the lip to make sure it's clean. Then you're going to be setting your painting, your paintbrush, and your paint in a safe spot to dry. Your artwork should get posted to Seesaw. Your space, once it's clear, is going to get wiped clean. If you're somebody in the building with me, our cups are going to get dumped into the sink and then put in our sanitizer bucket. I can't wait to see what you create.